Are you ready?
I'm so ready.
I guess the real value that men find in life is potential. Having someone to make you feel uncomfortable because you're doing something wrong, that's a good thing.
Salute.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Off Campus Podcast. Today I'm joined by my good friend, Derek Amaral. How are you doing?
I'm doing great today. I had a great morning and happy to be here.
I'm glad to hear that. We're going to be talking about Rule 3 today in Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life book. Rule 3 is make friends with people who want the best for you. And I actually, for the first time, and I should have done this for Rule 1 and 2, but I had Derek actually read the chapter with the rule, right?
Yeah, it was actually kind of tough because I haven't really picked up a book since maybe freshman year, and then even before that, I couldn't tell you the last time I looked at a book. So
We're not much readers at all. I kind of am getting there, but when I first read 12 Rules for Life, I listened to it on an audiobook. So it was a lot easier than reading a book. And I'm trying to read now. I'm reading his next book, which is Beyond Order, 12 More Rules. And maybe I'll do a series on that after this, of course. But that is very tough to read as well, because Jordan Peterson, he talks a lot of big words.
yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
So, real quick, what do you think is the top 3 things that you look for in a friend?
So, I mean, this is kind of like goes for all the friends I have now, but it's like they all would do anything. Like if I seriously asked them and I was like, yo, like I need a favor, any of them would do it without question. So I think that's definitely a big thing for me. And the second one, I think loyalty. I know Jordan Peterson kind of talked about it. It's like it can be a good and a bad thing, but loyalty is definitely another good one. The third one, I feel like this kind of ties in with the first one, but like dependability. Like you can kind of depend on them to be there for you in tough situations and in good ones too. So
Yeah. So, yeah, those are 3 very good things to look for in friends. I think one thing that I look for in, well, meeting new friends is, do they like have hobbies? Because if people just don't have hobbies and they just don't do anything,
yeah.
they're not productive with their free time at all. It's like,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah, I didn't
do
think about that too much because like obviously I'm at UML, so I like see new people all the time in class, and that's one thing. It's like if I have something in common with them, definitely a good way to start a friendship. Or
Yeah.
definitely if I know that they're out doing things, they're active, like okay, maybe they have their self together. So
That's true.
Yeah.
That's why I like automatically gravitate towards people who go to the gym, because it's such an obvious factor like about them is that they go to the gym. You can pretty much tell right away if someone does.
well, you also like you want to make sure the person has their life together. They got things in line. Especially it's like willpower. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Being able to be self-motivated. So
Self-motivation's tough, and I've always struggled with that with certain things, because with me, I'm really, once I'm really into something, I can put a lot of effort into it and put a lot of time into it. Like lifting right now, I'm like so into it because I'm so motivated because I actually really enjoy it.
Yeah.
But if I didn't enjoy it, I'd still go, but I don't think I'd be as into it or as motivated. And you need to be able to work when you're not motivated, because you're not always going to be motivated.
mm-hmm. Well,
I don't always want to go to the gym, but I do, because
and that's when you should the most, when you don't want to.
it's true.
Yeah.
That
It's
is
good for the
true.
mindset.
So everyone desires and needs friends. Like humans are social creatures. We were built like that. And the proof of that, I think the best example is that even for the most like antisocial, psychotic criminals, the worst punishment for even those people who hate everyone or claim to hate everyone, the worst punishment is solitary confinement. And people actually like genuinely go insane when they're not socialized at all. So they need to be around other humans. So friends are very important. This rule, I feel like the essence of it is the cliche that you are the average of the 5 most people that you are around. And that's very true.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, you are going to be brought down to your friend's level, or your friend's going to be brought down to your level instead of you picking them up to your level, or,
Well,
them picking you up to their level.
When you think about it, you were saying that they like almost influence you, and especially with like every kid goes to school. The kids you hang around with every day, they're going to influence your choices,
Oh, yeah.
what you do, and even maybe some of the things you might like. So
Especially as you're younger, because everyone who's young has like this deep want to fit in with the crowd, and you're even influenced by people that you don't hang out with, or you wouldn't even call your friends, that you might think are cool because you want to be like them.
Yep.
And you should just kind of try and be yourself.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I feel like growing up, you want to be with what you call like the cool kids, right?
Yeah.
And then you grow up and you realize you're like those. Like I wouldn't be friends with them. Like I don't even want to be friends with them. They're not me. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah, my friends are way better than than them.
Yeah.
So you've had you're friends with all the Tingsboro guys.
Yep.
And you've been friends with them forever.
Yeah, since
pretty much.
Probably the latest one was like 3rd grade, but yeah, from kindergarten to 3rd grade is when I met all of them.
So you haven't really, I mean, you have made a bunch of friends throughout your life.
Yeah.
But not as much recently.
No.
Does making friends come naturally to you, or do you have to seriously like go out of your way and be like, I should try and be friends with that guy?
So lately, that's how it's been. I like going out of my way, and I haven't wanted to do that because like I like the circle that I'm in, and I don't really want to expand it much. Like I've been in college for 2 years now. I don't live there, but I've only made one friend, and he's clicked with me and Jared. But Dylan,
Yeah.
you met him a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even for me, I have to. For introverts, they definitely have to really go out there and try and make friends. Like extroverts kind of comes naturally to them.
Yeah.
I think us and our friend group is mostly introverted.
Yeah.
We're not very outgoing or anything. We're just all really good friends. And
well, I am kind of outgoing, but like with you guys, like with new people, I'm kind of very like I don't know.
Yeah, I'd rather
kept
just
to
stick with my
myself.
crowd.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't really want much attention.
Yeah.
But I have noticed that with myself, especially recently, ever since we got into college, or I guess got out of high school because I don't go to college, but I don't really see anyone. Like I don't meet anyone. So when I see someone, I genuinely have to try and become their friend. Like I have to go up to them. I have to plan out what I'm going to say.
It's hard.
Like,
It's
it
hard.
is.
Yeah.
I need to try and find something that we have in common.
Yep.
And then I have to actually like figure out if I want to be their friend.
Yeah. And that's the thing for me. I don't even really care to put in the effort because like we said before, I like the kids I hang around with now.
Yeah.
And then I don't want to have to introduce them, and if they don't like them.
Yeah, I'm not like super confident talking to new people either.
Yeah,
which I need to work on.
Yeah.
Trying to work on.
It's definitely a great skill to have, but
yeah, it is.
I'm not very strong at it.
You kind of need it for business.
Yeah.
We talk about business a lot and
I
money
feel
a
like
lot.
that's kind of different, like for me, because it's not like, yeah, you want to become friends with them and create like a good relationship, but it's like almost a different like mindset in my head. Like this is business and like, or like real life and like behind the scenes almost.
Yeah, kind of with like the business thing, you're like, you feel like you have to do it. With friends, you're like, I don't have to do this.
Yeah,
I already have friends.
Exactly. And I feel like in a business perspective, I can kind of be more professional about it. So I feel like I'm better about that.
That's true. It is easier in a business context or in a professional context because you have like this mutual agreement in your mind that this is what we're here for.
Yep.
If you're going up to someone to like try and become their friend, they could just be completely shut out from this conversation. They don't want to talk to you.
You got to find something that, you can relate to.
Yeah.
That's very hard to do sometimes.
And everyone's afraid of rejection.
Yeah.
So I talked about this with rule 1, which is, stand up straight with your shoulders back. So you got to be confident. And I talked about with Matt because Matt's super outgoing.
Oh, yeah.
And he's not afraid to be awkward or make things awkward. Obviously, he enjoys it.
Yeah.
Which is
Awesome.
It's something.
I kind of, I would love to take from that and be able to
I
like do
know.
little things to make, myself be like that.
This might be a weird example, and I don't want to attribute Matt with this, but Jordan Peterson, I don't even know if it was in this book or what. I think he was just doing a speech or talk or something, and he said that there is some sort of bravery for that the kids who are like running across the highway and seeing if they survive, like there is some sort of bravery there. It's a little reckless and a little dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to attribute that to Matt, but that's kind of the theory about what he does. Like he does awkward stuff even if there's no benefit, just because, I mean, the benefit is him becoming less awkward of a person or being able to stand the awkward conversations and situations.
Something I definitely struggle with, and a lot of people do.
Yeah, it's definitely not easy.
No.
So, a good friend, in my opinion, well, I think this is fact actually, is someone that you can tell bad news to. And why do you think that a good friend is someone that you can tell bad news to?
Well, if you have like a friend that you're telling bad news and he doesn't really care, or like if you're upset about something and he's just like, oh, like whatever, you're fine. Like you need someone who can genuinely like understand how you feel, be there for you, and they don't even necessarily have to make it better because they could make it worse almost, but just by being there and like caring about you is big.
That is big. And a lot of people, I actually never noticed this until I read this book, but a lot of people, when you tell them like something bad happened to you, they just try and one up you.
Oh yeah, and be like, oh, this happened to me.
I know. It's like
it'll
dude,
be okay, I promise.
I
It's
wasn't
like, well,
trying.
it's different.
Well, they don't even say that.
Well, yeah.
It's more like, oh, you want me to feel bad for you? You should feel bad for me.
Yeah.
Because this is happening in my life.
And it was way worse than what happened to you. So.
I know. And then it just makes you feel bad, and you're like, I shouldn't have even told anyone. Like, I should just keep my emotions locked up and don't share it. Even with my friends, it's like my friends aren't going to help me. They're just going to make me feel bad about feeling bad.
Well, I think another thing is like everyone goes through like different like hard times, I guess. So like something that might be hard for me could be easy for you.
Yeah.
And I think as a friend, you have to understand that. It's like, so what may be a huge deal to me, you're just like, oh, like who cares? It's not that big of a deal. But like you have to understand that it means differently to me than it might to you. Yeah.
And also your friends, you should have like genuine care for them.
Yeah.
And that is something you have to try and do. It comes naturally when you like someone, but you genuinely have to like care about them. And if they tell you something bad that happened to them, it should like genuinely hurt you. It's almost like you guys are like tied together.
Yeah, you should never want something bad to happen to like yourself, right? So
yeah, exactly.
You guys are in it together.
And if you actually care about them, you would care if something bad happened to them, and you would help them as much as you can.
Mm-hmm.
And I think actually a better predictor of a good friend, and I'd hate to say like someone you can tell bad news to. I get that. But if you ever see like someone passes away, let's say like if my dad passed away tomorrow, there would be hundreds of people like messaging me and coming up to me and being like, oh, I'm so sorry. Which, all right, that's all good. That's fine.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean that they're my friends. It just means that they are sad something happened. So I think a better predictor of who your real good friends are is when something good happens to you, they celebrate with you instead of being jealous. And then also instead of one-upping you, because people like doing that.
Yep.
People really like doing that.
Because people kind of think the world revolves around them. You know, like they're like the main character and you're just kind of in my world.
Yeah, and a lot of the times, like if your friend gets a girlfriend, you may be like, well, why don't I have a girlfriend? Like, I deserve it. You don't.
Mm-hmm.
And you can feel that stuff. And then, but if you feel that and you notice that, you're like, wow, I shouldn't be feeling that. That's horrible. I should be happy for him. Like, that's something he's wanted for a while and he's worked towards, and he got lucky. My time's coming. Like, see, like this is stuff you actually have to try and do. It's not just gonna come.
It is difficult because I've run into that same situation where like I think that and I'm like, nah, like why do I think that? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
it
shouldn't
happens to me
feel
too.
this way.
I feel like I know this stuff, and I know that to be a good friend, I need to like really be happy about the achievements of that my friends do, and
Hmm.
and whatever promotions that they get or girlfriends that they get or anything.
Yeah.
I like, and I even catch myself. I'm like, wow, why am I like upset that something good happened to
Yeah.
him? It's like I should be happy.
But you also need to be self-aware too, because
Yeah.
if you're just clueless, like, I mean, obviously we're aware of all these things, like you stay up to date on a lot of this stuff, but kind of having it in the back of your mind is like a, you know, you think about it and you're like, okay, why do I feel this way? Some people just feel that way and that's how it is. Like they
Hmm.
don't think twice about it.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. Because they're, I mean, the whole you said everyone thinks the world revolves around them. Every day, every generation, this world gets like more selfish and more selfish and more selfish. I also heard something today that Jordan Peterson was talking about, where he was saying when a really good way, if you move into your neighborhood, a good way to make friends is ask your neighbors for a small favor. Like ask them for a favor that you think like a stranger would do for you. Then you owe them something, and then you can make it back for like make up for it, and then that automatically creates some sort of friendship.
Yep.
And the guy he was talking to was like, yeah, it's kind of crazy. When I was a kid, which I'm assuming was like one generation ago, so
Yep.
not even very long ago, you would ask your neighbors to be like, I need cream for my coffee, I need sugar, and they just give it to you.
Yeah.
People are like,
people don't even know their neighbors now.
no, they don't know their
Yeah.
neighbors, and people think they're a burden if they ask for a favor
Yeah.
or
It's
anything.
like it's not that big of a deal.
It
And
really
then
isn't.
You can do something for them that helps them out too, no matter how little it is.
And generally, people are happy to help.
Yeah.
Like actually happy,
Mm-hmm.
and they would prefer to help you.
Yeah.
Because it makes them feel good too.
Yeah. I mean, I feel that way.
Yeah, especially if it's something small.
Yeah.
So
Because
that's
you know,
really
especially with something small, it means a lot to them. Something that takes so little effort for you to do means so much to them.
yeah,
So
and it means a lot to you because you get a sense of like, oh, I helped someone today.
yeah, and it wasn't hard. It was
Yep.
easy.
And it's a good way to spark a friendship.
Yep.
With your neighbors. So I recommend doing that. So, what do we do with bad friends?
That's very
Actually,
difficult.
First, what do you think are like traits of a bad friend?
Well, I feel like you can like see like bad behavior almost. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but I guess bad behavior is how I'm gonna put it. In like kind of their actions and what they do, and
Yeah. There's a difference between a bad friend and a person who's not bad, but bad for you. You know?
yes,
So, like,
yeah.
someone, I don't know, there could be someone, like, perfect. Like, they don't do anything wrong. They don't do anything wrong, like, with their bodies. They go to church. They go to the gym. They're all perfect, but they're rude.
Yeah.
And when you tell them good news, they're like jealous and they one up you.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like that's a bad friend. It's not like someone who's bad for you to be around.
I think so someone like bad to be around would be someone that like influences you almost to do like bad things.
Yeah.
Like I guess if you like go to a party, you know, high school or whatever, and you just want to be there, have a good time. You don't want to do anything, but say they start drinking or whatever, and they're like, "Come on, have a drink, have a drink, have a drink. Come on, you have to. Like we're at a party, have a drink." You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you're talking about someone who's your friend?
Yes. So
Yeah.
because if they were truly your friend, say they did offer you once. Oh, you want a drink? No. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
That's it.
And it's okay to like joke around about that stuff
Yeah.
too, but yeah, I know what you're saying. It's you really got to watch out for those people.
Yep.
Because they do influence you.
Yep.
You might just
Oh,
want to. And that happens to a lot. Because you might not even think that like drinking is that bad, but you just weren't going to do it tonight because you're like, I don't feel like it. I don't have to do it, so I might as well not.
Yep.
And then they just encourage you to do it, and you're like, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
And then later you're like, man, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're questioning your decisions that you made because someone else told you to do them, that's a very good indicator that they are probably not the best person to be around.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. And it's in your best interest and their best interest to drop them.
Yep. Whether you see it now or later,
Yeah.
or especially if they see it an hour later.
Yeah,
But
you can give them chances too. It's not like so black and white and cutthroat. If they do something, if your friend does something wrong, you don't just cut them off and never
yeah,
talk to them again. There's room for improvement and
oh
there's
yeah,
room for redemption and forgiveness. You should always forgive people. But if they're not changing, you can still forgive them and not be associated with them
yes,
because they're going to just bring you down to their level, and it's not even in their best interest for you to be around them. Because let's say you're like aiming upward and you're trying to become better and they're not, they're going to be jealous and they're trying to drag you down with them. Because even if they don't do it on purpose, they're trying to drag you down with them if they're not aiming up
yeah.
themselves.
Well, it also makes them feel better about what they do.
Exactly.
So
That's why that's why he offers you a drink.
yeah, because it's like, oh, he's gonna have one too. So
Yeah.
you know,
It
like,
makes me feel less bad about my alcoholism
Yeah.
if I make my friend drink with me.
exactly. Yeah.
People always do that. And another thing people say a lot is like, well, Jesus hung around tax collectors and prostitutes and other sinners. And yes. But there's two things to that. First, Jesus was like the perfect man. And so he wouldn't be influenced by like other people's bad behavior as we would. And we definitely do. It's obvious that we do. Humans are just built like that.
Yep.
And then second, we can still love these people. And the way we love them is by pointing out like what they're doing wrong and not hanging around them. Because if we're hanging around someone who's self-destructive and not even just self-destructive, but destructive around whoever, then us hanging out with them, we're just allowing them to be like that, and we're almost encouraging it. Because if you're a good friend to someone who's doing something wrong, if they do something, let's say they're trying to recover and they're an alcoholic, or they're not trying to recover, but they're an alcoholic, and you help them every time that they have a drink, you're literally just encouraging them to drink more because they know you're going to help them.
Yep.
At some point, you just have to be like, dude, you're on your own. If you stop doing this, I'll be your friend and I'll help you, but you have to stop.
Well, and so one thing he talked about is by being friends with those people, you're almost making them worse.
Mhm.
And so it's in your best interest and theirs to just kind of cut them off.
Yeah.
Because you're influencing their drinking or whatever it is that they're doing.
Yep. Some people are good for you, but they're not great for you. And sometimes the good people need to be cut out of your life so the great people can come in. And it doesn't mean that those people who were good for you aren't going to be great for someone else, because they're going to be great for someone else, but they weren't great for you. They were only good for you, so they need to be cut off. And that you have to do a lot of thinking and figure out,
Oh, yeah. That's very hard.
because people are very
Yeah.
complex.
Oh, yeah.
And you are very complex. You don't really know much about yourself, so you got to figure it out. You got to know, because yes, you should hang around tax collectors and sinners and other people, but you shouldn't really.
Almost associate yourself with them.
Yeah, you shouldn't be like super intimate with them.
Yeah.
You should be a good example to them. You should be loving to them, and show them how to be. Like, be a good example. Show
Yeah.
them how to, like, the goodness of being good, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because if they're drinking and you don't, someone who drinks, they're never going to quit drinking if they don't see any positive in not drinking.
Yep.
So the two ways that can happen is they can see the negatives of drinking, which I'm sure they will see by themselves. Or if you come along and you are friendly, I wouldn't say be friends with them, but if you're friendly with them and you just show them how happy you are that you don't drink, that's a good influence.
Yeah.
That's really a good influence. So that's one way. And, you know, you're not loving a smoker in like the real sense of love by handing them a cigarette every time they want them.
Nope. You're just feeding their addiction.
You're literally just pushing them down, and
Yeah.
you are pushing yourself down. And you're most likely in that situation, you're pushing them down so you can feel better about yourself. And yeah, it's just not loving at all. And so sometimes dropping a friend can be a wake up call for them. And another thing is a good friend will never take an opportunity from you. So there's a lot of ways that can happen. I think mostly it could happen with like girls in high school. So I hung out a lot with a lot of people in high school because, well, I'm fortunate enough where I lived on a lake and I have a boat that people enjoyed, and my brother knew a lot of people and I knew a lot of people, so we'd bring people together, different friend groups together from different towns, and that they would never meet except through us. And a lot of times they'd start like dating one of my friends, and maybe a girl that Jeremy knows that he invited over or something. That stuff used to happen all the time. Actually, you and Kylie.
Yes.
And in that moment, me or Jeremy, we could choose to be jealous, and we could be like, oh, well, I invited these girls over, and now my friend's dating one of them, and I should have been dating one of her friends or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But instead, you can be happy for them. And, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
You should really focus on trying to be that.
Yep. Well, not all the good things. Like, it's just because it's almost like you invited them over, I should be the one that gets the benefit from it because I created this.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So there's also another thing that he was talking about where, let's say there's a work environment of a bunch of hard workers, and they work very well together, and they work very hard. They work hourly, so they all make the same, and they just get the job done. But their supervisor is kind of in charge of this lazier person. And that supervisor may think, oh, if I put this lazy person with all the hard workers, then the lazy person will be brought up by them and encouraged to work hard. And what you actually see happen there is that the hard workers will see the lazy person. And this lazy person, they're not trying to become better. They're just lazy and they don't want to do work. The hard workers will see this lazy person and they'll be jealous of them. They'll be like, why am I doing all this hard work? Why am I trying my best if I'm going to get paid the same as this person who's not even trying, not putting any effort in, and they're still seeing all the benefits that I am? So then all the hard workers are going to just drop to the level of the lazy person instead of build them up. And it sounds very pessimistic, which it kind of is. But that's kind of how society works. And so I think one way to fix that is with intent.
That's what I was just thinking.
So it's all about if that lazy person is trying to aim up or down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I feel like you can have all these awesome people surround this one person, right? And they can try to lift him up. But if he doesn't care, he doesn't want to, they're not going to get anywhere. And then it's going to go back
It's
full
going to be
circle.
jealous. They're going to get jealous. They're going to start aiming down.
You might have a person that may not be the greatest, but they are willing to learn, willing to become better. All these great people around him are going to influence him up. He's going to learn, and he's going to become one of those great people.
Yep, and those great people will become even better.
Yep.
And they're all building off of one another. I mentioned the other last week or something about the house that my dad found that he was like, one of you should buy this one. He was saying, there's a house in Pelham right near my house. And my dad was like, all right, one of you should buy it to me, my sister, and my brother. And then we could live with our friends in that, have them pay us rent while we pay the mortgage, of course. And, I mentioned that, and it's really making me want to move out, even though I don't have to.
I mean, I would love to, but...
And it'd be a bad financial decision for me to move out.
As for all of our friends, too.
Yeah. But I was really thinking about that, if we did that. Because you guys are all really good friends, and you guys are probably the only people that I'd want to live with. Like you, Jared, Nathan, Eric, I don't know. The rest of them. Henry.
Yeah, there's a lot of people.
I'm trying to think who else is in they're all like, those are the people I would want to live with if I had to live with anyone.
Yep.
And if we all lived together in the same house, we would like genuinely build each other up and work with each other on things. And if we're trying to learn something and one of us is better at it than the other, we'd go help them. And
Yep.
it would be really cool to do that.
Oh yeah, and that's
if
what
we
I
all live together.
I love that about our friend group, because no matter what, like, we're always kind of pushing ourselves to be better, especially with like
Yeah, we
going
push
to the
each other.
gym and stuff. Like, I am very on and off with it, but I'm back on it now, and I'm very heavily motivated by you and Jared.
Yeah.
And I want to stay with it because I'm like, I gotta keep going. Like, I can't let down now.
Yeah.
And it's because of you two that I'm so good with it now.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's literally what I'm here for.
Yeah.
That's the best thing that I could do for you. And same with me. That's the same place I get my motivation. It's not for the girls at the gym or anything. I don't really care about, mostly I don't care what anyone else really thinks about me except for you guys.
Yeah.
And if I had bad friends and I cared what they think about me, I'd probably be way worse off.
Well, probably because they wouldn't really care about.
Yeah, or they wouldn't care.
Yeah, they would be like, "Oh, you're just Joey. You're just my friend. Like, you don't do anything differently.
Yeah.
You're great."
And actually, if they're not aiming up themselves and they see me like really getting motivated to go to the gym, most likely what they're going to do is start discouraging me for going to the gym.
Yeah. Be like, "Oh, that's all you do. That's your personality."
Yeah,
you know?
you're no fun anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, yeah, your good friends will do that, and family members can do that too, and that's tough. If your family members are aiming down and you like try and do something and they just drag you down to because you doing something good shines light on their inadequacies.
Yeah.
So, or their unwillingness to actually like do something good for themselves or anyone else. So they see good behavior from you and they're like, "Nah,
This isn't you."
yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Like, you're making me look bad here."
Yeah.
So, good friends are very, very important. Oh yeah, a good friend is someone that you would take advice from. Has there been a moment recently, or I guess any time, where you've like actually needed advice from one of your friends, or is there something recently that your friend has encouraged you to do or not to do that maybe you were thinking?
So this is, I mean, it's like off topic, but it's on topic. So I had a hockey tournament a couple weeks ago, and this kid at the end of the game cheap shotted me, right? And so like we're in the line, and this kid was telling me just punch this other kid, right? And I was like, I wasn't gonna do it. I was like, whatever. And the kid just kept telling me to do it, and I was so like fueled, like so angered, so I just did it. And I stand by that decision because what he did to me was horrible, but I should not have done it, and that was a bad influence. You know?
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
yeah,
You went the other direction.
I did, and it happens, and it's very hard. And I know I made the wrong decision,
Yeah.
but I mean, there's really no buts. But I
When it's in a
made the wrong
game,
decision. Yeah.
But if it's in a game.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
There's definitely things. I know all this stuff. I'm talking about it, and I know it immensely. So when I do something, I'm like, come on, I know better.
Yeah.
It's almost like
that's kind of how it was.
wisdom is a curse.
Yeah.
It's almost like that. But yeah, like a good friend is someone you would take advice from, and they're a good friend if you would take advice from them because you know that they're going to give you advice that they think is best for you.
Yep.
Not best for them, best for you. Because I don't know why it keeps coming back to like girlfriends, but if let's say like I don't know if I want to mention names here. So Jared said he was like talking to this girl that I know, and he asked me about her, and he knew I knew her, so he asked me about her, and I easily could have just been like, "Oh no, I don't like her. You should stay away," because I know that like if he starts dating her, then he's not going to hang out with me as much and stuff like that. So I could easily have just used that as a selfish motivation to just use it, to use him. And maybe it's something that's going to be good for him in the future. And so I was honest with him. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know where it's going now. So sorry, Jared. But like, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You got to be
But that's, I mean, I would take advice from every single one of you guys because
Yeah.
I know you guys have like my best interests and vice
Yeah.
versa. So
And you're not all knowing. So you have to have people that you trust.
yeah.
You can't, because you see stuff in a different perspective than I do.
Mm-hmm.
So if we see a situation, we're both gonna have different solutions. One might be better or worse, and it might not even be wrong, but there might be a better solution.
Yeah.
And you might have come up with that, and I came up with a good solution, but it wasn't the best solution. So
But even just seeing like from your point of view could help like me make my decision.
yeah, of course.
Even if I don't like directly say that's what I'm gonna do, it might help me.
Well, it's also I'm less biased. So if you came to me with a problem, and you're like, oh look what Kylie did it, and like what should I do about this? And I'm like, dude, you're in the wrong.
Yeah.
Like you'd be too blind to see that
Yeah.
because you're in it. You're
And-
in the argument.
yeah.
I'm out of it. So I'm fortunate enough to be able to see both
Yeah.
sides and be like, yo, Derek, like you're the one that's wrong here.
Yeah, I never used to be like that too because I never like I don't like confrontation, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But lately, you know, if you need to, like, it's not gonna hurt me. It's gonna hurt you. So why would I hurt you? Like, just
Exactly.
if I just am honest with you, it's gonna help out. Maybe it'll help out your relationship. It'll help out
Exactly.
you.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. If I was like, oh, Derek, yeah, you're right. You're right. You should break up with her.
Yeah.
And then you broke up with her, and you're lonely and upset and depressed.
Yeah.
It's like, well, maybe if you had better friends, you wouldn't
Yeah.
be.
Exactly.
It all translates. It's like who your friends are translates to your entire life.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah. So a good friend will tell you when you're wrong and what you need to change, and knowing you have good friends is important too. So everything that we're talking about now, you should really consider who your friends are. And I know dropping friends is hard. Have you ever really dropped a friend? Or had
Actually-
to, I guess.
I don't think I've. Oh, actually, yeah. So
You don't have to use names if you don't have. If
all
you
right.
don't want
So
to.
it was probably in seventh, eighth grade. No. It was definitely a little bit before that, but that doesn't matter. So I used to hang out with like this different group of kids, and this is when I realized how good of friends I was with Nathan because he used to hang out like with them with me,
Mm-hmm.
and then after a while, it just like they weren't really my friends, blah blah blah. And so we ended up like switching friend groups, and he like was with me throughout the whole thing. Like he always was by my side, and it was tough because it was like they were my friends, but I knew that they weren't really like great people. They made bad decisions and stuff like that, and I started to notice that, and then switched friends groups, and then I became friends with like closer with Jared and like other kids that I'm sure you would know their names, but
Yeah, that kind of happened with me too. It happened a little bit in high school. I had a little couple situations with people that I wasn't the best at that point. I'm still not the best, but I was definitely not a very virtuous person. I was kind of just living how I wanted to live, but even then, I just knew these people weren't good for me. And it's really hard to drop friends, especially in high school or in school at all, because you see the people every day, and you're like, well, we used to be close, and we're just not friends anymore because you did this, or I did this, or something.
yeah. I mean, actually, now that I think about it even more, I've had some friends in high school that almost dropped me because they they changed not in like a good way.
Yeah.
They changed in a bad way, and then they started hanging out with other people, and then I was like, I'm not.
Yep.
Like, what happened? Like,
Well, and when you try and become better, people will drop you.
Yeah.
Just the reality.
but I feel like not the future, but like now up until probably like a year or two ago is when I've really been aware of like all this stuff about being a good person, and I realized how good of friends I actually have.
Yeah, me too.
And, yeah.
Once I read this chapter, dude, when I was reading this chapter, I was just like full grin, just like, wow, this is crazy. I'm like so lucky.
Yeah, and I was telling you that when I was reading it, I was like I can relate this a lot
Yeah.
to like high school in my life.
Yeah, and I actually like mentioning that you were saying when you were younger dropping friends. Even before that, in elementary school, first, second, third grade, I remember my parents they'd be like, nope, you're not hanging out with him anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like he was a bad kid. I can't even think of anyone like specific, but like kids, they got stuff wrong with them. They always do. So
And especially at that age, you don't realize.
yeah, you don't. Yeah, they don't even know what they're doing wrong. They just do it because they're just kids.
Yeah.
But like, luckily, I had parents that were smart enough to be like, yeah, you shouldn't hang out with them, because when you're that young, you get influenced a lot by your friends, and mostly by your friends. You get the people you get influenced most by when you're young is your parents and your friends.
Yeah, well, I mean, your parents can like raise you and stuff, but all day you're at school, and those kids are really influencing what you're doing. So,
and as you get older, I think it changes more towards your friends and less your parents. But you also, like, I still get influenced by my parents a lot, but I think I get influenced by my friends a lot more, but not random people as much.
yeah, but I would say it's different because like the influence I get from like my dad is very different from the influence I get from like you guys. But
Yeah,
it's not. But it's
yeah.
not like bad. It's just like different. Like he has way different views than all of us, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, he's a generation older than us, and he's lived a completely different life than we have.
And he's seen a lot of stuff. So,
Yeah.
like, he knows a lot.
Like, you need the wisdom from him, but you need like the relatability with us, and that's really important. Yeah, like, I trust my dad with a lot of stuff. I'll ask him for advice if I have to, and I'll really take it into consideration because he knows stuff that I don't, because he's just been here longer. But also, I need you guys, because there's a lot of stuff in this world that he didn't grow up with, and so you guys know it better.
Yeah.
And you can look at it from I'd say unbiased, but you guys are biased, but you're biased towards like doing the best thing for me, which is what I need.
Yeah.
So it's really like, and if you're like a bias towards your friend, if they're asking for advice, isn't like selfish. It's not a selfish thing. You should be biased for your friend because you want the best for your friend, but you should also want the best for everyone else.
Well, that's the thing, because you should be completely honest, but you should also have their best interest.
Yeah, you do. Honesty is the best policy.
Yes.
It's just, it always is. That's one of the rules. So wait, how much of the book have you read?
So, because I got it on Friday
night.
night, and I didn't read anything because I had to wake up early. But then when I got home from work, I read for like a half hour. I just read Rule 3, but I plan on reading the whole book.
Did you read the prologue?
I did not, because I wanted to read Rule 3, but I'm going to read the prologue.
No, you're good. I think the prologue talks about his daughter, I think, because his daughter had a lot of autoimmune disorders.
Yeah,
when she was young,
I've seen clips, and she like totally changed her diet, right? And like things completely went away.
She's lion diet, which is literally just red meat.
Yeah, that's crazy.
She was on Piers Morgan a few weeks ago, I think, and he's like, "So what do you do when you eat when you wake up?" She's like, "Strip steak." It's like, for
I
lunch,
wish I could do
strip
that.
steak.
But
So
I feel like I
what
wouldn't
do you
get
have for
sick of
dinner?
that.
Strip steak,
Yeah.
and maybe sometimes soup.
Yeah. But I wouldn't mind that. Like, that sounds awesome. Like,
I mean,
steak is so good.
Yeah, you say you wouldn't mind it, but
Oh, then doing it is obviously a little different. Yeah.
Recently, I've had a high craving for something sweet.
Really?
I really want something sweet because I can't have anything.
Yeah.
I don't know how many of you know about what's going on with me and my health. I'm okay. Don't worry. I'm just having trouble with food, and I had ice cream 2 nights ago, and geez, dude, it was bad. I ate it. It was really late because I think that was Friday night as well. Actually, or was it Saturday night? No, it's Friday night. And I just had ice cream, and then I laid down in bed. I only had a few bites, and my throat was like, it felt like it was swelling up, like my glands were swelling up, and I felt like I was getting suffocated, so I couldn't lay down. So I got some Benadryl, and then I sat up. Going to see a doctor on Wednesday. But I'm okay. I'm okay, guys. Don't worry. But that's why I've literally just been eating like a steak, eggs, turkey, ham, cheese, yogurt.
All great
And fruit.
food, though.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah.
But I haven't had anything sweet in like almost a year. So not quite, because I was having ice cream for a while, but then that made me feel sick too. So
I have a question related to like your eating. So for me, I know we're kind of on like opposite paths right now, but like people say when they eat too much,
Yeah, for the
It's
gym.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, they like they eat too much, and it kind of like obviously makes them feel bloated, and they almost feel like they just want to lay down all day and like do nothing. Do you feel any of that?
No, no, I don't think so. I have. I know what you mean. If I have like a big steak, and I usually when I have steak, I'll have yogurt with it. Could switch it up a little bit. But yeah, usually when I have like a big steak, I'll be like tired for like 15 minutes, but not all day. I actually really enjoy bulking right now because the worst part about it is having to cook the food. I
Yeah.
hate cooking. So, and my mom makes me breakfast, so it's not even like I don't even cook that much, but I have to cook a steak. Usually I just have like turkey cheese roll ups for lunch, and I'll have steak for dinner, and then before I go to bed, I'll have like 6 eggs and then some bacon or sausage or something. But I just hate cooking at night because I'm like, I just want to lay down. I just want to eat and then go to bed.
Yep.
But I have to clean the dishes. I have to wait for the food to be ready, and it's kind of a pain. But I like eating this much, and I actually am gaining a lot of weight. Maybe could arguably too quick, but we'll see.
You're good.
Yeah, I know. Even if I went to 160 like spontaneously right now, I'd be okay. But you know, I want it to be a lot of muscle because I want to cut down back to maybe like 155 or 150 after I hit 160
Yeah.
and I have a lot more muscle mass on me. I've been very into bodybuilding recently, and I want to look like a bodybuilder, man.
Yeah. It's tough.
It is tough.
Oh yeah, a lot goes into it.
Yeah, and it's not really sustainable. You can't just
No. Yeah.
you can't be 8% body fat your whole life. You're just
It's not even
not healthy.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
It's
that.
not healthy. And when you're that, I already have a problem with like a problem with energy levels, and I'm always tired. So
Yeah. Well, me
and
too.
then when you're at 8% body fat, you're just super lethargic, and
Yeah.
it's just worse. It's just not sustainable
Yeah.
for real living. What's your goal for like working out? Do you have like a specific goal for anything?
I had a goal to get down to like 175, and then I did it.
Yeah, you're already
And
there. So.
Yeah, and now I don't really know where I want to go. I know that I think I want to go to 165 now, but I don't know how doable that is for me because I'm gaining a lot of muscle too.
Yeah.
So, but
Well, if you're gonna lose a lot of like 10 more pounds, you're probably not gonna gain like too much muscle in that time.
but I think like I care about strength, but right now I kind of want to look more lean.
Yeah,
So.
I'm kind of stuck in between there.
Well, I was getting a little bit bigger, and then I was like, I
Yeah.
gotta change that. So
Yeah, good for you. I'm definitely. I want the numbers to go up with my reps and my weights, you know, but so I care a lot about strength, but I also want to look super lean.
Mhm.
But the only way I'm gonna gain like real strength is by eating a lot because.
Yeah.
You know, when you weigh 150, you're kind of limited at what you can push for weight.
Oh, yeah.
You just are. I actually had like one more thing, or a few more things. So, talking about when a friend tells you something that you don't want to hear, a good example of that is like when a salesman is trying to sell a car, he's not going to tell the customer that his like outfit doesn't match, or he should like fix his hair. You know, he's not going to criticize the customer, even if it's real criticism that would help the customer to hear. A salesman's not going to tell a customer that because they're not trying to help the guy. The salesman is selfishly trying to sell the car, which honestly, like, that kind of sounds bad for a salesman, but you know what I mean. They're kind of doing it for selfish reasons. They're not doing it for the best interests of the customer necessarily. Sometimes they are because a car's good for someone, but that's a good way of explaining like that. Bad friends will kind of be the car salesman, and they'll just do what they'll give you advice on things that they or they won't give you advice on things because they want themselves to look better, or they want something good to happen to them, so they don't want something good to happen to you.
Well, because they always like a bad friend, they want to be the best person. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? They're the best person in their group.
Yeah.
So
Yep. And then friends matter when you're young because they influence you a lot. And they matter when you're older, possibly more than when you're younger, because your kids will be hanging out with your friends' kids, most likely. And, you know, like if you had kids and I had kids and my kids were hanging out with your kids at your house, I would expect you to parent my kid. If he does something wrong, you can parent them.
mm-hmm.
But if I don't have good friends, then I know they're not really gonna care.
Yeah.
So, just have good friends, I guess.
Yeah.
That's the moral of the story here. Make sure your friends are good. Dropping friends is difficult, but it's in the best interest for you and for them. It's not selfish to drop friends. That's like the main thing, because I think people think loyalty is, they think of it too high.
Yeah.
Loyalty is important, but loyalty can be abused by people.
Oh yeah. It's like, oh,
So-
you're my friend. You should do this with me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
People do that all the time. People do that with family, which is
Which is horrible.
really
but-
sad. But what do you think someone should do? And honestly, I don't even have a specific answer for this. But what do you think someone should do if it's a family member that's like being the bad friend?
To be honest, I feel like one of the only things you can do is talk to them and like try to inform them, because obviously they're your family. I feel like family's like obviously different than friends, because you want families, you grow up with them your entire life and stuff. But yeah, definitely trying to talk to them and like being very sincere and genuine. Because if you're just going into it like, hey, you're horrible, this is what's wrong with you. No, like genuinely you want to fix it, and obviously they have to want to, because if they don't want to, then it goes back to like that work situation.
So what if they don't want to?
That's tough. I mean, you could drop them, but it also, because I feel like if they are like that, then I feel like other people will see that too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then collectively, like you have other people in your family you can talk to about it as well. And
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
That's definitely just a tough situation. I don't know. I think you do have to drop them, though. You have to get away from them, and because they're not helping you and you're not helping them.
Yeah.
If they don't want to change, they're not going to.
So something I wanted to ask you about dropping friends and stuff. I guess what would be like your way, or almost like the best way to go about that?
Oof.
It's tough.
Like formally dropping a friend, man, that's tough. I don't know. You have to talk to them.
Yeah.
Just be like, I don't think we should hang out. I don't think I'm good for you. I don't think you're good for me. So
I feel like you have to make what like what you want to say, make it clear.
yeah.
Because if you're not clear, like look, if something doesn't change, we can't do this. You know what I mean? It's not benefiting me or you.
Yeah,
And it's
you
just hurting.
almost have to say like until, like, we're on pause until you do this.
Yeah, and
until you fix
if
this.
you don't want to change, then we're just gonna go separate ways.
Yep, and that's fine. It's your decision.
Yep.
But that's what I need for me, and honestly, I think that's what you need for yourself. So, dropping friends is tough. I never really did it. I don't think I really did it like conversation like that.
I don't think I've ever done.
Every
it
time
either.
it's just been like, oh, like this fight broke out, and then we just never talked again.
Yeah.
Which happens a lot, but maybe it's for the best.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause now I got great friends,
Yeah.
and I don't have just good friends that I can go to, and they're gonna try and one up me when I say something good, and one up me when I say something bad. They really care about me. They give me honest advice.
Yeah, and you can tell too, because if you're going through like a hard time, you can tell who's really there for you
Oh
and
yeah,
who's not.
oh yeah, yeah. Anything else?
I don't know. Any questions you got?
No.
You have any more questions or anything?
No. Everyone read 12 Rules for Life, please.
I'm definitely going to finish reading the whole book. I'm going to start from the beginning now. I'll definitely reread chapter 3.
It's
or the third rule, but-
actually a life-changing book if you take it to heart and you really try and learn from it. It is a life-changing book. So
I'm excited to read it. I've never been excited to read or have a book before.
I know.
So
I know.
yeah.
Jordan Peterson's something else, man. He's a smart guy for sure. But that's it. So thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy, please like, share, and subscribe. It's free. It takes about half a second, and you can always change your mind. So, thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. This was a good time. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me on. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Of course. And until next time for Rule 4, which is, I think, don't let your kids do anything that makes you dislike them. If I'm wrong, that's really awkward, but I'm pretty sure that's the next one. So see you next time.
See ya.